Almost no one knows about African gods, the oldest gods to exist. If you ask most people who the most powerful African god is, 90% would go mute, because they didn't even know these gods in the first place. But the reality is much deeper, primordial, and terrifying. Today, we unravel the secrets of the 10 most powerful and oldest gods of Africa, and the number one spot is one that surpasses godhood itself. Forget all the beauties of Greek and Norse mythology the Western world has fed you, because the true divine hierarchy begins now. Starting at number 10, meet the sovereign sky, Horus, the architect of order. Born of resurrection, his piercing falcon eye is the ultimate blueprint of righteous kingship, forever crushing the forces of chaos to keep the cosmic throne secure. But here's what almost no one tells you. Horus was not born a king. He was born a weapon. Conceived in secrecy after his father was torn into 14 pieces and scattered across the land, Horus grew up in the shadows of the Nile marshes, hidden from an uncle who wanted him dead before he ever drew his first breath. Every single day of his childhood was a countdown to war. And when that war finally came, it did not end in triumph. It ended in mutilation. Horus lost his eye in a battle so violent it shattered across the sky, and that eye had to be pieced back together by magic older than the gods themselves. Stay with me, because that broken eye becomes the exact symbol of order fighting to hold itself together against total collapse. And if a god this powerful could be broken this badly, you need to ask yourself, what chance did anyone else have? But Horus's story is only the beginning of the countdown, because at number 9, we meet something far more merciless. The celestial guillotine, Amadioha, the executioner of the skies. Operating with cold, instantaneous fury, his lightning leaves a red mark of absolute judgment, striking down evildoers in the exact moment they tip the scales of moral law. There is no trial, there is no warning, there is no negotiation. Among the Igbo people, Amadioha's justice is so feared that even speaking a lie under his gaze was considered a death sentence waiting to trigger. If a man swore a false oath, if a thief denied his theft, if a betrayer smiled to your face while poisoning your name behind your back, the sky itself would remember. And when it struck without mercy, incinerating flesh, splitting trees, silencing entire villages into terrified obedience. But here's the twist that most people never uncover. Amadioha's fury was not random. It was mathematical, precise, almost robotic in its judgment. Which means somewhere in the cosmic order, there exists a ledger, a scale, a system tracking every soul's morality in real time. And if that system exists, who built it? That question alone should terrify you, because the answer is coming. And it changes everything you think you know about fate. Speaking of fate, number 8 belongs to the most dangerous god on this entire list, not because of brute strength, but because of pure absolute control. The cosmic veto, Eshu, the gatekeeper of fate. Sitting at the crossroads of existence, he holds the master key to all spiritual communication. If he locks the door, not a single prayer or blessing can cross the boundary between worlds. Think about that for a second. It doesn't matter how powerful a god is. It doesn't matter how desperate a prayer is. It doesn't matter how righteous a soul is. If Eshu decides your voice does not deserve to be heard, it simply vanishes into silence. Among the Yoruba, no ritual begins without first appeasing him, because to ignore Eshu is to guarantee catastrophe, twisted luck, cursed timing, doors slamming shut right when you need them open the most. He is a trickster wrapped in divine bureaucracy, a god who can make an entire kingdom's prayers disappear into the void simply because he was disrespected at the crossroads. And here's what should genuinely disturb you. Every single god on this list, no matter how powerful, still has to pass through Eshu's gate to reach the mortal world, even the ones above him, even the ones you're about to meet. Which means the true power in African mythology was never about who could destroy the most. It was about who controlled access to everyone else's destruction. Keep that thought in your mind, because it becomes terrifyingly relevant later. Now we descend into darker territory. Number 7. The eternal verdict, Osiris, the monarch of the dead. Sitting on the throne of the underworld, he is the final, inescapable destination for every mortal soul, presiding over the scales of truth to dictate their ultimate eternity. But before Osiris ruled death, he ruled life, as a king so beloved that his own brother, consumed by jealousy, orchestrated one of the most brutal betrayals in all of mythology. Osiris was lured into a trap, sealed inside a coffin built to his exact measurements, and drowned. But that wasn't even the worst part. When his body was found, his brother didn't just kill him again. He dismembered him into 14 pieces and scattered them across the entire land, hoping to erase him from existence completely. And yet, Osiris did not disappear. His wife searched every corner of the earth, gathering the broken pieces of her husband's body, and through forbidden magic, resurrected him. Not fully back to life, but into something else entirely. A god of the dead, a being who now stands at the exact threshold every soul must cross, weighing their heart against a feather to determine whether they deserve eternal peace or eternal devouring. Osiris turned his own murder into ultimate authority. His betrayal became his throne. And that should make you pause, because if the god of judgment himself was once judged unfairly and destroyed by someone he trusted, what does that tell you about trust in the divine world at all? That betrayal echoes into number 6, where power stops being about judgment and becomes about survival itself. The iron pulse, Ogun, the blacksmith of civilization. As the absolute master of metal and technology, his blade cuts the roads of progress and fuels the fires of bloody warfare, making him the literal backbone of human survival. Every weapon ever forged, every road ever cleared through untamed wilderness, every tool that separated mankind from primitive chaos, all of it flows from Ogun's fire. But do not mistake him for a gentle craftsman. Ogun is violence given purpose. Legends say that during one of the fiercest wars in Yoruba mythology, Ogun descended into battle so overwhelmed by bloodlust that he could not stop, cutting down enemies and allies alike in an uncontrollable frenzy, unable to distinguish friend from foe until the battlefield was silent. Even gods feared getting too close to him in that state. This is the terrifying duality every civilization owes its survival to. The same force that builds your tools can also become the force that ends you without warning. And this is where the story shifts. Because everything you have witnessed so far, the judgment of Amadioha, the gatekeeping of Eshu, the resurrection of Osiris, the violence of Ogun, these were only the outer layers. The true war for cosmic supremacy hasn't even started yet. Because at number 5, we are no longer talking about gods who serve order. We are talking about the very engine that keeps existence from collapsing into eternal darkness, the solar anchor. Ra, the engine of existence. Sailing through the heavens by day and battling the serpent of chaos by night, his raw, blinding light is the only thing keeping the universe from collapsing back into total darkness. Every single night, without exception, Ra's solar bark descends into the underworld, where a monstrous serpent of pure chaos, a creature older than time, born from the very darkness Ra pushes back, waits to devour him and unravel creation itself. And every single night, Ra fights that war alone, in silence, unseen by mortals who sleep peacefully above, completely unaware that their entire reality survives only because their sun god refuses to lose. If Ra ever fails, even once, the sun does not rise. Order collapses. Chaos swallows everything. This is not a myth about a god who shines. This is a myth about a god who is exhausted, wounded, aging, and still refuses to stop fighting. Because the moment he does, everyone dies. And here's the twist that most storytellers leave out. Ra was not always untouchable. As he grew older, his power began to weaken, his authority began to slip, and one of his own creations discovered the ultimate weapon against him, his true, secret name. a name so powerful that whoever spoke it could control Ra himself. And someone was hunting for that name. Which brings us terrifyingly close to the moment everything changes. But first, number 4 demands your attention, because this is where thunder stopped being a sound and became a legacy that refused to die. The living flame, Shango, the Thunder King of the Diaspora. Wielding the double-edged axe of absolute justice, his explosive power crossed oceans to survive centuries of history, remaining the most globally active and feared thunder god on Earth. Shango was once a mortal king, ruling with such explosive intensity that legend says fire literally poured from his mouth when he spoke in fury. His reign was violent, magnetic, and ultimately self-destructive. Historians and myth keepers say his own recklessness led to catastrophe, forcing him from his throne in disgrace. But instead of vanishing into shame, Shango ascended. He became thunder itself. And centuries later, when entire civilizations were forcibly scattered across oceans during one of history's darkest chapters, Shango's worship did not die. It multiplied, transformed, and survived under different names in different lands, hidden inside new religions, whispered through generations who refused to let him be erased. Right now, in traditions across multiple continents, people still call his name during storms, still fear his double axe, still feel his fire in the crack of lightning overhead. A god who lost his throne became a god who conquered the entire world instead. But if a being this powerful once fell from grace so violently, what does that say about the god still standing above him? Now the danger becomes intimate, seductive, and far more terrifying than raw violence. Number 3, the supreme sorceress, Isis, the matrix of magic. Possessing words of power so terrifying, she tricked the sun god into surrendering his secret name. Her mastery of the supernatural allows her to rewrite the laws of nature and manipulate life and death at will. Remember Ra's secret name, the one someone was hunting for? It was Isis. She crafted a serpent from Ra's own saliva mixed with dust, placed it directly in his path, and let it bite him with venom so agonizing that even the king of the gods begged for relief. And when Ra pleaded for healing, Isis offered a cure. But only in exchange for his true name, the single piece of knowledge that granted absolute power over him. Ra, dying in pain, had no choice. He surrendered it. In that single moment, Isis did not just gain a secret, she proved that even the most powerful god in existence could be outmaneuvered, manipulated, and controlled by intellect and patience rather than brute strength. This is the same magic she used to resurrect her husband Osiris from complete dismemberment, breathing life back into a body that should have stayed dead forever. Isis is not a goddess who fights wars with weapons. She fights wars with knowledge, patience, and words so precise they can bend reality itself. And that terrifying truth leads directly into a realization that should shake you to your core. If a goddess this powerful still exists beneath only 2 entities on this list, what could possibly stand above her? The answer takes us beyond gods entirely. Number 2, the primordial womb. Nana Buluku, the mother of the cosmos. Existing long before time had a name, this ancient, boundless entity spun the universe into being and birthed the sun and moon, serving as the raw fabric from which all other gods were carved. Before Ra fought the serpent, before Osiris ruled the dead, before Isis learned a single word of magic, before Amadioha's lightning ever struck, before anything existed at all, there was only Nana Buluku, alone, in an infinite, formless void, spinning creation into shape with nothing but sheer, incomprehensible will. She did not inherit power. She did not earn a throne. She simply was. And from her endless ancient womb came the sun, the moon, and eventually the very gods you have just witnessed, battling for dominance, judgment, and survival. Every war, every betrayal, every act of vengeance and magic you've heard so far, all of it exists inside a universe she created before consciousness itself had a name. This is not mythology anymore. This is the terrifying edge of existence itself, where gods become children and creation becomes motherhood on a scale too vast for mortal comprehension. And yet, even Nana Buluku is not the final answer. There is something beyond her, something that isn't a being at all. And now, we arrive at the single entity that dissolves the entire concept of hierarchy, power, and godhood as you understand it. Number 1, the infinite totality, Chukwu, the source of all sparks. He is not a god, but the cosmic software running the entire simulation. As the absolute sum total of all energy and existence, he is the boundless ocean from which every deity on this list draws their power. Chukwu is not a king. Chukwu is not a warrior. Chukwu is not even a character in the traditional sense. He is the underlying force, the raw current of existence itself, from which Horus's kingship, Amadioha's lightning, Eshu's gatekeeping, Osiris's judgment, Ogun's iron, Ra's light, Shango's thunder, Isis's magic, and even Nana Buluku's creation all originate. Every single conflict you just witnessed, every betrayal, every war, every act of vengeance and resurrection, was nothing more than a fragment of Chukwu's infinite energy expressing itself through different forms. This is the terrifying, humbling truth the Western world never taught you. African mythology does not end with a single supreme warrior standing victorious over a battlefield of defeated rivals. It ends with the revelation that every god, every conflict, every drop of power you have just witnessed was always, from the very beginning, a spark of something infinitely larger than godhood itself, something with no beginning, no end, and no rival, because there is nothing outside of it left to fight. So now you know the truth the world tried to keep buried: 10 gods, 10 wars, 10 thrones built on betrayal, fire, judgment, and magic. And beneath every single one of them, an infinite force that needed none of it to exist. If this shook something loose in you, imagine what else has been hidden. Stay close, because the deeper truths of these forgotten pantheons are only beginning to surface.